Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. It is officially once again Thirsty Thursday, and you already know that means it is also update day here in Call of Duty, the first update of March. Time is flying by, but today we did actually see a handful of changes go live in Warzone, more so than what we usually see, and curiously enough, they all sort of revolve around the playlist update, if you will. We also saw some changes in Vanguard as well. As we go over all the changes in today's updates, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, or if you have not already subscribed, about 55% of viewers watching are not subscribed yet, and every single day I got you covered with everything going on in COD, news, updates, loadouts, tips. You're gonna find it all right here, so feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. Also, I'm super excited to announce that finally Gamer Advantage is bringing the glasses to the UK. UK shipping is finally available. Right now you can pick up some fog away, lens cleaner, some eye candy, or a handful of selections of the Inferno, Augment, or Storm frames. They do offer the sleeper lens option currently, which is what I use on a day-to-day basis. Absolutely love them. So if you ever want to cop a pair of glasses, Code Immortal has you covered with a nice little discount. Link will be down in the description below. Now, today's update is somewhat standard, but also somewhat extra, if you will. We do have our standard playlist update, but with this playlist update, we saw a lot of very specific changes, right? We also saw some previews for the future of Rebirth as well, which is very interesting to say the least. So first up for this week, we do have Vanguard Royale solos, duos, trios, and quads. Now, as we learned yesterday via the whole surprise title update, Vanguard Royale is changing. First and foremost, the health is being increased here. Now, this is just for Vanguard Royale. The base health is going from 100 up to 150. So a 50 increase to health, which means that if you are fully plated up, you'll have 300 health in total, which in turn means that most weapons are going to be a minimum of 1 to 2 extra shots to kill, depending on obviously the range that you're fighting at. So the TTK is going to be a little bit slower in Vanguard Royale, and I really do have a feeling here that they are using this as a sort of testing grounds, if you will, to see if this resonates well with the community. If players really enjoy having that extra 50 health, I would not be surprised at all if we see that sort of bleed over into Caldera for normal Battle Royale, and then maybe even over to Rebirth Island as well. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about raising the TTK, slowing it down a little bit, and changing that up from Raven over the course of the last half year or so. This is definitely the most drastic thing they've done, so I'm very curious to see how that plays. Then also, UAVs are returning to Vanguard Royale. Initially, Raven revealed that they were going to cost 9K for a UAV. However, as of the patch notes this morning, which we'll go over towards the end of the video, now they're going to be 6,000 instead. So no change in the price, but they are going to be back. Again, Vanguard Royale only for that. Nothing is changing for the rules set in Core Battle Royale. And for that, this week, we're just going to have standard quads. No solos, no duos, no trios for that for the next 7 days. For Plunder, we got standard quads yet again. This is basic Plunder, so all MW, all Cold War, all Vanguard weapons and operators are going to be available there. And then for Rebirth Island, we also got some pretty interesting changes here. We officially have the debut of Iron Trials duos on Rebirth specifically. Then for Resurgence, we also have duos, trios, and quads, so plenty of options for that. Now, I do want to specifically focus on Iron Trial duos because yesterday, actually in the afternoon, Call of Duty and Raven actually revealed the official rule set for what Iron Trials is going to be on Rebirth. And also the blog that this sort of was revealed in has some very interesting words about the future of Rebirth. So let's talk about the rule set first here. So it is Iron Trials. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more competitive in that sense. The match duration and the circle collapse. The round timers have been adjusted to reflect the scale of Rebirth Island and have been increased for the pacing of the game. There are no free loadout drops. If you want to use your custom guns, you have to go in and actually buy a loadout at the buy station. There's only going to be ATVs, so no SUVs, no helicopters here, ATVs only. Now, as far as the buy stations go, the prices are a little bit different. So for an armor bundle, it's going to cost $500 extra. It'll be 2K instead of 1.5. For a gas mask, it's going to be 4K instead of 3,000. For a cluster, it'll be 4K instead of 3. For a precision, it'll be 4,500 versus 3,500. For a self-revive, it's going to be 5,000 instead of 4,000. For a UAV, they're going to be 6,000 instead of 4,000. Then for a loadout drop, it is going to be 10,000 on Rebirth instead of 7,500. And also, because it is Iron Trials, for $30,000, you can buy a specialist token and get all the perks in the game, which is incredibly powerful when you really take into consideration just how much that gives you. You also get some weapon perks out of that too. So if you got the spare change, it might be worth picking that up. I believe though, if you die with it, you don't get to come back and loot it. You can't get that back. If you die with it, it does disappear. So take that into consideration as well. You also get to keep 10% more cash when you end up dying, so it maybe be a little bit easier to regain. And then for melees, melee finisher damage has been removed, so you have to get finishes with your gun or with a throwing knife. Either one of those melees will not work. For operator base health, it's going to be increased from 100 to 250, so 400 total health when you are all plated up. Health regen, that timer has actually been increased by 2 seconds. Then regen per second has been decreased from 120 to 40. So it's going to take way longer to fully regen there. Then for starting equipment, you're going to be dropping in with a top break and then also a sawtooth. Both of those are from Vanguard. Basically, all the loot has been adjusted according to the blog post. Common weapons actually start with attachments now to sort of optimize them for that increased health. The rarity spawn rates have also been updated. Kill streak drop rates have actually been reduced, so UAVs are not going to be as common here. For cash spawns, the larger piles of cash are now rare, so it'll be harder to find the big chunks of change. Then for field upgrades, there's no stopping power and no dead silence. For the equipment and whatnot, snipers, a single headshot will down an enemy only if you're within 30 meters. Long range sniping here is not going to be that powerful. Stuns are not nearly as effective. Then also the regen rate on stims is not going to be as great as well. It's decreased by 50%. In the Gulag, there's no akimbo weapons, no semi-auto or fully auto shotguns, and there's a limited selection of tactical equipment. And for redeployment, if players survive their Gulag, then they'll redeploy with whatever equipment is left over. I don't believe there's any resurgence here though, so take that into consideration as well. So in some ways, it's like Iron Trials was back on Verdansk. In other ways, though, it is specifically modified for Rebirth. And then also on top of everything, it's going to be Cold War based loot. No Vanguard and no Modern Warfare weapons outside of your starting weapons, according to a previous blog post. But like I said earlier, this announcement and this reveal of the rules for Iron Trials came with a very interesting preview for the future of Warzone. Here's what they say. Given that this is the final mode for the current Rebirth Islands, consider this an encore for Beanox and Raven Software inspired by Treyarch's original locale. Although this is not the end for Rebirth Island, you may want to drop back in before a familiar foe brings the largest updates to the map since its release. Now we know at the mid-season update, we're going to see the Rebirth Resurgence where they're changing up the map. We talked about this a few days back, actually. There's going to be POI changes. There's going to be cover changes all throughout the map. The largest update that Rebirth has ever seen. It's really interesting how they're sort of previewing this. A familiar foe is going to be returning. That could be something to do with the Cold War storyline in Rebirth, or it could be like the Nebula or the Nova gas, which is obviously like part of the storyline right now with Vanguard over on Caldera. But interesting wording there, I would say. Now, like I said earlier, today we did actually get a few more additional patch notes in the March 3rd update. Most of this is just going over how Vanguard Royale is going to play, all the rules for Rebirth, which obviously we just went over. However, there were a few bug fixes towards the end of these notes. Here they fixed an issue causing the unlocked criteria progress bar for some weapon attachments and camos to just display placeholder text. They fixed an issue preventing the pop-up icon for certain in-game settings not appearing in the menu, so things like brightness, audio mix, the button layout, so on and so forth. They also fixed an issue causing the total cash collected on the player's scoreboard to appear misaligned, an issue in private matches preventing the helicopter on top of peak to be able to take off properly, an issue with placeholder descriptions on calling cards, an issue with the rarity label on blueprints and calling cards, then also a new issue with field upgrades not working correctly when holding a gasoline can. So nothing too crazy, just a handful of bug fixes. Now, jumping over to Vanguard, we did also see some patch notes here today as well, and of course we got a playlist update too. As far as the March 3rd patch notes go, here on Casablanca they fixed a couple of issues. For ranked play, the intuition perk in marksman rifles now appears restricted in the pre-match created class, so you won't be able to put those on. And they also fixed an issue in Champion Hill. For attachments, for Gung Ho, they decreased the weapon sprint out times a little bit. For the Gammon Bomb, they decreased the explosive damage and explosive radius in hardcore, so hopefully that won't be as dominant there. For the perks on Fortified, fully healed players equipped with Fortified can no longer survive being stuck by a sticky bomb. For streaks, the counter spy plane and the spy plane speed were reduced in the sky. They sort of accidentally changed that, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago. They've been super fast, so they did decrease those. And they also fixed a couple of store bundles and a few issues with zombies as well. Now, as for the playlist this week in Vanguard, as always, we're looking at all the usual quick play options. We also have Trifecta Domination, Medium Map Assault, Big Map Blitz, Ship House 24/7, and then also Champion Hill Solos. And then, surprisingly enough, Treyarch today announced that tomorrow, March 4th, We got a new content update dropping in Cold War, which is going to see the debut of WMD, which is obviously a Black Ops 1 remastered map. Then we're going to see the Vargo 52 assault rifle debut in multiplayer and zombies, alongside a brand new Mastercraft bundle. And obviously the Vargo should be available in Warzone as well, so we'll be covering that tomorrow with the best setup and everything going on there. So new content coming to Cold War as well. So yeah, with all that being said, that is effectively everything that ended up changing in today's updates between Warzone and Vanguard. A lot of interesting stuff today, but that is going to wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. It really does help grow the channel. And of course, if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, every single day I got you covered with all things going on. News, updates, loadouts, tips, you're going to find it all right here. So feel free to subscribe and turn on those post notifications. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL for a spicy discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, Gamer Advantage, and Control Freak products. The links for all those can be found down in the description below. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.